you can share with the rest of us, amazing Larry?
And with that, we pop into episode 19 of Deep Dive, the Tim Burton filmography, and everything that comes with that. This will be part 1, episode of 2. And this is your boy Practical.
This is your boy Rex.
And we got a new host here with us from this moment on.
Let's welcome him.
Buddy Danny.
I want my bike! Sorry, I had to continue on with the clip that we chose to use, but no, thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. I hope I
glad to have you, Danny.
Add a little spice to the dinner table, if you will.
Hell yeah. Some paprika.
Yeah, glad to be here.
I don't know.
And this is a good episode to jump in on for me because I, as a whole, I like him. You know, I like a lot of his movies, and you know, me and Practical were talking about this earlier. There's really not too many bad ones, but starting off with this one, I mean, this is a top 5 all-time movie for me. And when I tell people that, they laugh, and they're like, Pee-wee's Big Adventure?
It is odd, Danny. It is an odd one. I'm going to say that right now. I never would have thought that.
I think just, you know, as a kid, it was nostalgic for me. I watched a show, and so when the movie came out, I was obsessed. I loved it. I mean, I never wanted a twirly-looking circus bike in all my life. And that whole movie, you're like, Mom, I want that bike.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. It's one of my favorites. It's just so well done, and you know, Tim is such a wacky vision. Mm-hmm. And especially when it comes to this character. I mean, Paul Rubens brings out, that's literally what he's kind of only known for. I mean, he has other film credits, but when I think Paul Rubens, I think Pee-wee.
Oh, absolutely. And
absolutely.
With that, I mean, let's just kick it off then. Let's talk 1985's Pee-wee's Big Adventure. What are your thoughts, Rex? Because you're surprised by his comments, and I don't think you and I have ever talked about this movie. So, what do you think?
You know, it's funny because it's actually hard pressed to find anybody who talks about this movie, and I don't say that in a bad way. I've actually just recently watched it again for the first time in probably 20 years. Mm-hmm. And it's classic Pee Wee Herman, and it's got just this really, really kind of quirkiness to it that only comes from Burton. Like even in this movie, which is his first directorial debut, which is impressive because this movie was widely popular when it came out, and it wasn't expected. So just the quirkiness and just how it's done, I can see Beetlejuice, I can see Nightmare Before Christmas in it, like just all these kind of quirks he has. It's a great movie. It's one that I honestly probably won't watch for a long time again, but
that's unfortunate.
But you know, if it's ever on, it's not something I'll turn off. Like I can't believe it's taken me another 20 years to ever watch this again. But Paul Rubin, I agree with you. It is something kind of the only thing he's really ever known for, and he got in all that trouble at whatever he did in that porn theater. I don't know, but outside of that, I don't know him from anything else. But for Tim Burton and this being his directorial debut, it's definitely a change from David Fincher's. You know, like he reached the success David Fincher didn't in his first movie, which no knock on him, but it's just impressive when you see these, you know, first movies and they're like this.
I mean, I don't know. He did this movie, and his second movie is fucking Beetlejuice, you know, and then right into Batman.
Yes.
So it's like, you know, those things probably wouldn't have happened if they weren't impressed by what he did with Pee-wee's Big Adventure. But
no, absolutely, because I mean, it was Pee-wee's Big Adventure was widely popular amongst people, and they didn't think it would be. But you know, with the help of Tim Burton and you know Paul Rubin just stepping into the shoes that he's done already for years, it just kind of translated well.
I have two things. I'm sorry. One, Paul Rubens. Okay.
Paul Rubens, I'm sorry.
Hey, it's all
I'm
right.
sorry, Mr. Rubens. Hey, we've already said we're terrible at name pronunciation. I'm also bad at reading.
I think what I've heard is that you are. But I'm just letting you know, thank you again for having me. And just know that you have a second corrector. Okay? So, I'm just saying. I'm a little stickler. Anyways, no, this was the first directorial debut, Tim Burton, like you said. You know, he had shorts and stuff like that when he did the Frankenweenie and whatnot, but this also was like the first movie where it solidified that I'm going to use this composer, Danny Elfman, in virtually everything I do. And the music alone in this movie sets the tone for, oh, I'm watching a Tim Burton movie.
Yeah, Danny Elfman.
You hear that music going and you're like, oh, I already know who directed this, you know? So it kind of established their relationship. And to me, he's one of the best film composers out there, you know? He's no John Williams or Hans Zimmer. But no, he made a name for himself outside of, you know, Oingo Boingo and stuff like that. So
Danny Elfman is the fucking man. I don't give a shit.
Kills it.
He's fucking, like, he does almost every Burton movie. There's maybe a handful, 4 or 5, that he has nothing to do with. But like, we talked about Big Eyes a little bit. He didn't do that one, but like, it's cool. Yeah, I agree. That relationship is an important deal with the tone of his movies, and even as Big Adventure. Like, yeah. And the other thing too, I want to mention for this movie is the color scheme. It looks really bright and vibrant every time you watch it, and it could benefit from a 4K. I don't know if there's one out there, but
and again, this is being the first movie. Like I was saying, he sets those tones for his other movies. You know,
exactly.
But like, that's one of my favorite parts about that movie. It's aesthetically pleasing to look at.
Absolutely.
The color schemes and just the vision. You see his vision more in that movie, but he's getting further on down in the movies he's putting out. Obviously, he has 3 big movies that come out before that movie, but it's my favorite, dude. I love it. I freaking love it.
Hell yeah.
No, it definitely does. It definitely pops in a weird way, not in a bad way, but in a weird way where everything is very like oversaturated kind of, but it makes the movie better.
Yeah, and the bike,
like the cinematography on it.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
It's like, it's red like my bow tie.
I think that scene in Beetlejuice where Astrid is riding into Winter River, I think he uses the same shots, the same technique he did for those early Pee-wee on the bike scenes too, which is
that's interesting. Yeah. That is cool. And actually, I think Paul Rubens,
attaboy.
I think he wrote part of the screenplay from, like, this is like his first writing attempt, I think, too.
You might be. Yes, you are right. Him and
I think
this is something I didn't know. Looking at the credentials, Phil Hartman.
Oh,
I'm wondering if
motherfucking
that's the Phil Hartman.
It
absolutely is. What?
Oh yeah.
Mind blown.
Hell yeah.
That's wow. Okay. I guess I don't know that movie very well. That's
hard. It's hard with all that shit. The
awesome.
The nitty gritty.
Yeah, like
what goes into
all those trivial things that happens. Yeah, there's a lot.
Going back to that movie, if watching it, it's like it's the most psychotic rat race movie out there. Like all the stuff he has to go through, all the shit he goes through, going with the ex-convict and meeting the diner broad after
biker gang.
The biker gang, my favorite, dude.
Such a movie, dude. It just goes through so many highs and lows.
They blatantly let him just take a Harley and he just boom takes out that sign. Fantastic. But no, I like the buildup of him, and then he finally gets it, at the end, and it's great. I love that movie.
One thing I forgot to mention to the viewers now that we're about 10 minutes into this episode, if Rex sounds a little weird to you, we are 400 miles away down here in Bend, Oregon, hanging with Mr. Danny Gast.
I wouldn't have my premiere any other way. It needed to be in person. I'm not doing, the long distance thing. Although from now on I will. And we're going to deal with it, people.
Right. But we're going to patch him in, and he's going to sound crisp and right as motherfucking
Call me Patch
rain.
Adams.
Oh, yeah. Well, boys, with that said, unless, Danny, because I know you love this movie, I don't know if you have anything else to say about it.
No, I got pretty much everything out. And, correcting Rexy over there for not adding the S. We're good to go.
Good. That was the other thing I was going to mention. I just had briefly mentioned before we start recording that you always call Joss Whedon Haas Whedon, and I'm always confused by that. I never know if it's intentional or because I never know with you. I never know if you're like mocking them or if you're just or if I'm wrong. I don't know. Either way, I was just mentioning that, so I had to let him know.
I don't know his name. It depends on the day what I call him. It's not very often you find a dude whose name is Joss. Like, yeah. I'm sorry, I'm just a regular person. I don't know your foreign ass name or whatever it is. I don't know what's going on. I'm terrible with names. I'm lucky I can do my own name.
I thought this was America.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought I couldn't read. So I just, it's what is it actually then? What is it the official name? I've never even heard him talk.
I think it's Joss. I mean, I don't know if it's
Joss
opinion, but Joss seems like Joss. I know who you're referring
to, and I'm pretty sure it's Joss.
Yeah,
but
okay.
Hey man, you're in Hollywood. Why don't you get one of these Hollywood names like all these other jerks?
Yeah, why Tim or Tom Cruise has Tom Cruise? I can't forget or misspell that name or mispronounce it.
No, I was
Cruise.
I was more or less going IE with you, Hulk Hogan and what's his name? Terry
Bollea,
brother. Like, can you imagine if he was as big as he was and they introduced him as Terry Bollea?
Oh man, horrible. Terry Bologna. Fuck off.
Anyways, we're going to wrestling. We're not doing that.
Oh, not yet. No. But anyway, that will be a nice little segue into our ratings for the movie. I mean, we usually use the 1 to 10 scale. I don't know how you are, but I'd give Pee-wee's Big Adventure about. I don't like the 3 out of 5. We talked about the. It's like about that. It's not enough. It's not good enough.
Okay. Whole numbers. Can I do points? What's
whatever you want? Rex has got motherfucking 2 rating scales, so he rates horror movies with 1 scale.
I can use either or.
Yeah, whatever you want to do. Here at Deep Dive, we don't judge; we just do it.
Well, I think you guys already know what my score is going to be, so I'm curious to hear yours first.
Interesting. All right, let me know if I need to get the 10 out of 10 button ready. Anyway,
I think so.
Oh fuck! All right, well for me. I give it about a 7 or an 8. The movie to me is good. I like it a lot. Was a pretty big part of my childhood. It came out the year I was born, so I didn't see it for, probably until I was like 8 or 9. But I did like it, and I do watch it on occasion. So that's what I do. What about you, Rex?
I'm probably 6.5. I'll probably, again, like I said, it's not a bad movie. It's not my favorite. I'll probably be a while before I watch it again. But outside of that, I mean, obviously it gets a knockoff point because Pee-wee doesn't die at the end. So,
that's a horrible thing to say.
That's what he wants, dude. He wants death at the end of every movie.
Dude, look, I'm tired of the hero always winning. I'm tired of that shit. I don't care. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. 6.5. I'm sorry, Danny, but not sorry. You can suck it.
Rather not.
6.5, but I don't think it's a bad movie. I really don't. Like, if I had kids, I would want them to watch it.
Here's my rating. Mm-hmm. Now he's gonna do 10. No, it's not.
It's 11.
No. It's a solid 9.5 for me. And the only reason it isn't a 10 is because I couldn't enjoy it in a movie theater. It came out in 85. I'm a little young boy. I was born in 87.
Little boy.
But growing up, having older brothers, we watched Pee-wee, at my grandma's house and stuff like that. The Christmas special holds a special plate in my family's heart. Anyway, it's just, if it came out in theaters now and I saw it, oh man, it would definitely be a 10 out of 10. But that also has to do with the fact, like I said, that I was watching Pee-wee. So maybe if I was a little bit older and I saw it in the theater, I would have given it a 10 out of 10, but it would be 9.5. And that's the highest I will give it, only because it's one of my favorites. I watch it once to twice a year just to like laugh and make myself feel good. But yeah.
That is an interesting reason to rate it, and I am all for it.
But you understand what I'm saying? Like,
that
Yeah, I
sounded
understand it. I know I understand what you're saying. It's just interesting. I never kind of thought of
and
that.
it's like the first time I watched it, it was on VHS, bro, and now I have it on Blu-ray, or it might be 4K, honestly, but I'm pretty sure it's Blu-ray. But it's so much more crystal clear. But
hell yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
well,
that wraps up Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and I guess
was
that will
little
bring
Pee-wee.
us to the next goddamn masterpiece in his lineup, and that is
You know what's really beautiful about this? You two kids picked me. You didn't have to, but you picked me. It makes me want to kiss you guys. Come on. Come on. Give me one. Come on. Huh? All right, let's get down to business. Here, Mike. I got a card around here somewhere. Here. Who do I have to kill? Here, hold that for me, will you? Whoa! There you go. You don't have to kill anybody. Possession. Good. Learn to throw your voice. Fool your friends. Fun and party.
and that will bring us to Beetlejuice, 1988.
Don't say it 2 more times, please.
I'm
Just
tempted.
call it BJ for the rest.
Beetlejuice.
No!
Bring him out.
He might be
Keaton's at my
scared.
door.
I would love to have him on the show. That'd be
dude.
sick.
I want some of his opinions.
So, one thing though, obviously, Rex and I already dedicated an episode to part 1 and 2. Check
Which
that
I
shit
listened
out.
to. I did my homework, by the way, Rex.
Oh yeah, that's something that was tight. It is. Danny has listened to us from the start, which is sick.
I have.
Hell
I
yeah,
enjoyed
Danny.
quite a few episodes
You're a real
last
one.
week on my drive to and from Portland when I went to a concerto by myself. And yeah, I was laughing because of the first episode, Aaron just kind of talking. And then when you got kind of thrown in there, it was good chemistry. And I was like, I'm about to fuck this up.
Hell yeah.
In the best way.
Well,
In the
thank you
best
for
way.
listening. That's awesome, man. I'm glad, like I said, I'm glad to have you. When Aaron brought up Practical brought up the, option, I was like, hell yeah, I don't care. Like, I think adding a third person in it being you would just make things better.
I just need a cool nickname now. Because you got nicknames and I'm just, hi, I'm Danny.
I just used the practical moniker because I invented that shit like 15 years ago when I thought I might have been a rapper, and then I just laugh at
Who's
myself.
not a rapper? Jeffrey Jones.
No, he's a raper.
Oh,
Yeah, that's our RAPER.
too many P's.
But
enough
yeah,
for him.
so obviously with that Beetlejuice 88, we kind of talked about what we felt about it. Pretty sure I gave it a 10. I can't even remember, but I'm almost positive that it was a 10 out of 10 for me.
Dude, I thought that was a button. I was like, is that the guy from Halo?
So not much really needs
10
to
out
be
of 10.
said.
Oh.
10 out of 10. And then Rex, you want to recap your rating if you want. I don't remember what you said either.
You know what? I don't remember either. We've been going through so many movies, and I'm watching them for this, and I forget. But Beetlejuice, always a great movie. Watched it since I was a kid. It's Tim Burton style to a T. For a second movie in his director line, it's crazy. This is what he went from Pee-wee. Like I said, you can see in Pee-wee a lot of his early attempts at trying to bring his style in, but Beetlejuice just kind of nails it. Like he
nails
just
it with the practical effects.
Yes,
forget
absolutely.
in the day and age we live in, we're so just
CGI based.
CGI everywhere. Like when practical effects are used, it's more. I don't know. It's just more vivid. It's more believable. I guess.
Like zany but believable.
Right, you could watch a body horror movie and it's like, if I'm getting CGI, that's not going to shock and awe me as much. And then you see these movies where they're using practical effects again, and that makes it. But yeah, I think especially in this movie, when it comes to like the little model that he has all built out, like how intricate that was, and the camera angles about when he would go in there and like you could see what the grass was made, like that attention to detail is really, really cool. But you're right. Yeah. His style really shines in this movie for sure.
A shining star.
It is. But yeah, that's kind of all I'm going to say. If you want to check out what we said, check out our Beetlejuice and Beetlejuice episode. We did a back-to-back one. But anyways, Danny, you started already, but tell us how you feel about this movie.
I love this movie, honestly. It's a good feel-good movie. I I love Michael Keaton. Mike Keaton's my guy. And this is one of his best, if not his best role. But I am a little
100%.
partial to the Bruce Wayne, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
I agree. It's one of
But
his
it's
best.
a good cast, you
Yeah.
know. Catherine O'Hara, now, what she's become now, I mean, she was definitely more of a smaller actress, you know, back then. Not that she,
Yes.
you know, wasn't not known or whatever, but she pretty much kind of wasn't, especially, you know, starring along, you know, Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin and Michael Keaton. Like, those are three heavy hitters in the 80s for sure. And, you know, Winona Ryder, always had a crush on her when I would watch this as a kid. I was like, she's pretty dark, but I like her. You know, her character
I'm into
resonates
it.
with
Pretty
me
dank.
and resonates with
Hell
the
yeah.
Beetlejuice franchise, especially, you know, kind of going into the second one.
Hmm.
But no, I
She
love
can
this
steal
movie.
me.
This is a great movie. You're right. His style comes into play. You know, again, going back to the music, I'm a hard on for Danny Elfman composing. Just the style that he uses, you know it's him. It's one of those recognizable tones, or however he uses strings, or this, that, and the other.
He's a fucking G.
Yeah, absolutely. The story kind of goes a little bit all over the place. Just for me, I felt like there's certain characters that were introduced and then, you know, kind of faded back a little bit, and more other characters would come to be more dominant. Like, I didn't like her best friend, Otho.
Yeah, Otho.
That guy sucked.
Terrible.
Oh my god. Well, he was just annoying.
He's good for the movie, but yeah.
And
like,
you know, he played that part very well, but like, I think he kind of took over from you know, like Lydia, or even, you know, Jeffrey Jones for that matter. Like, I could have used more him. He was pretty funny in that, you know. I hate saying that now because he's not funny now.
Yeah, now he's a friggin'. We all know what he is now.
He's a
He used to be
guy,
good,
not
though,
cool,
like-
not cool.
it's too bad he had to do that because he was a good, like, iconic 80s actor.
Oh,
He-
yeah.
You know,
Fair
he was even
Yeah,
like,
for
you know,
real.
John Hughes, you know, yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
But yeah, if I
Fucker.
had to rate this movie, it's like an 8 for me, and
Nice.
that's good. That's not horrible, but
no.
Well, that's a great rating.
it's
That's a
definitely
great
not my
rating.
favorite Tim Burton movie, but it's not any of my least favorite. I would give it in my top 5. I would say, just because how iconic it is, and where he, you know, threw this in his repertoire. It's like, oh, I'm going to just throw a hitter right after Pee-wee, which, you know, probably had mixed reviews, but this one resonates with people nowadays. I mean, shit, we just got a sequel 30 years later. So, yeah.
A sweet ass sequel.
Yeah.
For me, dog.
Well, I mean, that's good. For me, I don't know. Probably is my favorite Burton movie, even with him doing Batman, but I don't know. I guess that would be the best possible way to lead us into...
Don't kill me, man! Don't kill me! Don't kill me, man!
I'm not going to kill you. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
With that, Batman, 1989, fucking huge movie. One of the biggest movies probably of all time. Can't even be argued. It's pretty much the reason we have modern superhero films.
Yes.
At least as we know them today. I think Superman might have came before, but Batman is what put this shit on the fucking map. Our boy Michael Keaton is back.
Can I just say that little excerpt thing you did in the beginning where he holds him up, that iconic scene that I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
Like, you can't duplicate that. So good. Anyways,
fucking
sorry. I just wanted to comment on that because I'm glad you chose that clip.
Yeah, it's a fucking great quip. I remember that scene so vividly as a kid too. Just like anytime I turned it on, Michael Keaton's gonna fuck those dudes on the rooftop up, and it mirrors the death of his parents with the people that they choose and shit. And it's just kind of a great fucking scene because you almost think the movie's gonna open up with Bruce's parents being killed, but really it's just smack dab in the middle of Gotham crime, and we get to see where Batman interjects. But fuck yeah, Batman 89. I know all three of us are gonna have a lot of shit to say about this movie. So I'm going to go last on this one because this one is pretty fucking important to me. So I'm going to let one of you guys take the floor so I can hear what you guys have to say first. That's right.
Fire away, Rex.
All right. Well, if I'm going to start this off, I just want to say this is definitely probably the quintessential Batman movie. However odd it is to me that somebody like Burton was the one who did this just stylistically from his first two movies. This is again like another huge jump from Pee-wee to Beetlejuice to Batman. Like it still has all of his kind of just little critiques, all the things that he does in his movies, like the shots of Gotham, like they look like something out of Beetlejuice. Like you can tell stylistically who's the director in this, but he went so dark with it, but still kept it crazy light and funny with like Jack Nicholson. The Jack Nicholson's Joker is still who I think Joker would be like the most that we've seen on screen.
He's more gangster, and yeah, I agree.
More to his roots. Like, he's more to the roots of who Joker was, or is actually. And me and Practical have talked about this many times. You know, Batman is kind of more of a mobster movie, mobster-esque person. Like most of his original lineup of bad guys were all mob-style people, just like the Joker. And in this movie, I feel they capture the Joker, like, you know, shout out to Heath Ledger and everything, but this Joker kind of encapsulates what I see Joker always being. This Gotham is what I envision Gotham being. It's so dark, but again, it has this zany feel to it, and you know, Tim Burton. Yeah,
he's maniacal and he's scary. Like he has those commercials on the TV where he's selling the makeup and he's all being, you know, like a Joker or whatever. But then cold-heartedly, he throws that parade and just gasses everybody. He's like, "Oh, screw these people! I'm just throw free money at them, but I'm gonna kill them anyways." You know, so I see what you're saying.
And this, you know, it reminds me, because I know the animated series is based off of these first two movies, like the kind of world they kind of base it off this stuff. And, you know, even though this came before, like they mirror each other great, the Joker's in there, because he was psychotic, but he was always laughing, and he's always he's a mobster at heart and just a gangster. And the two mix amazing in this movie, and Keaton again does a great role in this. You know, he did for Beetlejuice, and then also the contrast again. Like Beetlejuice is such a crazy but funny quirk guy. Like he's got all these one-liners that are just killer. Yeah. And now he switches to this more stoic, more just, you know, strong, like man's man Batman and Bruce Wayne. It's incredible. The Batmobile is also classic.
It's crazy too, because the backlash that WB received for casting Michael Keaton as Batman at the time. There are videos on YouTube about it. And we had a similar thing happen when Heath Ledger was cast as the Joker. So it's funny because people, nerds in particular, us nerds get real fucking, you know, oh, why are you using this and why are you doing that and why are you changing this? And it's like, that is a tale as old as time, and Michael Keaton felt the brunt of it like right away, because, you know, the things he had done before this movie other than Beetlejuice were like Mr. Mom and all these like underground kind of comedy movies with some of the cast of Saturday Night Live here and there. Like one of his real early ones I love is called Night Shift, and it's just a straight up comedy, you know. And Michael Keaton, he can do it all, man. He's a serious actor. He's a funny guy.
Yeah, he's the Keaton.
He's fucking awesome, and I think he get an Oscar for Birdman. If he didn't, he did. Okay,
I think he did. Yeah,
fucking
that movie is so awesome. Yeah. Holy moly, that movie is so good.
And you know, one of the things too I got to mention about Keaton's performance is even in modern times when people are talking about Batman and they're like, most recently they're like, how do you feel about Robert Pattinson being cast as Batman or whatever? And he's like, I don't feel any way about it because I'm Batman. And that's just sick, dude. Like, he's a fucking badass.
Hell yeah. He is.
Yeah.
The only thing I'll say is that they did him dirty in The Flash. Not his fault. He still played a good Batman, but just that movie, he couldn't save it.
They did the viewer dirty with the Flash.
That movie.
At least he got
They
paid.
did everybody dirty. Yeah, at least he got paid. Yeah, but anyways, what are your thoughts, Danny? I mean, obviously, we know you like this.
This is my favorite Batman movie, regardless of the new ones that have coming out. They're great or whatever, but I love this one because of the noir. It is like you were saying about the Joker being a gangster. There's a noir about this movie. There's, going back to the saturation and the color and stuff like that. It's kind of dark and gritty a little bit. Michael Keaton, one of my favorite Bruce Waynes. He's a great Batman too, but like I like his Bruce Wayne a little more because he's kind of, in the beginning at least, you see he's kind of just like oblivious to other people besides himself. When, he's like just signing stuff or whatever at that party. And then she asks if, do you know who Bruce Wayne is? He's like, no, like kind of being a cocky asshole, but like in a way, Kim Basinger's character, Vicky Vale, kind of exposes him because this is legitimately the only other person besides Alfred who knows who he is. So like he handled that well as a Bruce Wayne. I do love his Batman though. I think, he's not trying to hide behind a scary voice, like Christian Bale, like bless his heart. But what
bless his soul for that one.
What the hell?
Where were the other trucks going? Looking for Maggie Gyllenhaal.
He sounds like he's got heartburn and he ran out of Tums and he's like, I gotta talk like this. So I respect Michael Keaton for masking his voice, but not like,
going to lengths.
Yeah, correct.
He doesn't need to because his Batman is like appearance wise already pretty kind of like, oh shit, this guy's gonna fuck me up. Like he's just pitch black.
Dude, it's scary. Yeah. It's scary black.
And then you get to Jack Nicholson, who again, the gangster Joker. You have all these different styles of Jokers. If you look at these other movies, Jared Leto being not only the shittiest, but he was supposed to be like the new wave gangster, but he wasn't gangster mafia like Jack Nicholson. Your Heath Ledger is more the psychotic that sounds like a sane person because he's speaking these crazy ideologies and using all these pseudonyms and what have you, and it's just like he's a different Joker. But I love Jack Nicholson in this movie because of the humor aspect, and also the guy who plays Alfred. God, why can't I not think of his name? I'm gonna have to look it up. It's Michael Gow.
Michael Gow,
dude.
He is a great Alfred.
He's so good. Just
like he did all four of the first ones, didn't he? Right? He went all the way through
Batman versus Robin. Yeah, but then they like try to kill him off because I'm pretty sure he died during production of that.
He did.
Really?
Batman
That's sad.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
shout out to him though.
Yeah, I mean he's probably the only one that's in all four of them besides Commissioner Gordon. I think those are the only two assholes. But.
And I also hate Jack Palance in this fucking movie.
Oh, he's terrible.
I'm a number one guy.
Like, dude, thank God Jack Nicholson kills him with the Danny Elfman score.
Dude, one of my all-time favorite moments for that movie is the whole gentleman. Let's broaden our minds. That shit's so sick, dude. Yeah.
Bob, this town needs an enema.
Yeah.
One thing you can say about Burton is he does have great casting ability. Like Jack Nicholson is the Joker. Like, there's no way this movie, no way the character could have been as big as he became now without.
Yeah, and imagine
Jack Nicholson.
Imagine a guy like Michael Keaton, like Aaron was practical. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to use your on. Guys, don't contact him. Anyways, no, he. Oh my God, I forgot what I was talking about. Anyways.
You're talking about Jack Nicholson being casted as Joker. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, he was a draw for Michael Keaton to be a part of it because Michael Keaton
cast.
But yes. Just because he didn't have that many roles, but then you're going to be in a movie with a guy that was, Oscar winner for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. He won for that, right?
Maybe nominated. I don't know. You have to look it up.
He should have won for it because that movie rules.
We're still gonna have to
That
get
movie's
that
so
fucking
good.
person that does fact checking for
But
us.
I think that was a draw for a guy like Michael Keaton, like I said, and this movie kind of launched his career. And it was a money grab, definitely, for Jack Nicholson because people lined up for this.
Oh,
And
money grab. Let me comment on that.
don't even get me
He made
started.
out like a
No.
bandit,
No,
like a
he-
little gangster.
He brokered one of the greatest fucking deals in movie history because his shit was like $10 million at the time to do the movie or something. But then he also got the rights to earn money from the merch to this movie, as well as all of the subsequent movies, Batman Returns, Batman Forever, Batman and Robin. Even if he doesn't appear in the role, he gets fucking paid. That is a fucking boss move if I've ever goddamn seen one, dude.
To think about how big of an actor you have to be able to broker that deal. Like, that's how big of a deal Jack Nicholson was at the time, because he was just popping out. So he must have won that. For Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
If he didn't,
Because
he deserved to, because that movie's
he did.
sick as fuck,
That
dude.
movie's amazing. It
Fact
should have
check
won if he
snipers.
didn't.
Fact check that.
But like, that's just a testament to how big he was at the time. Like, how do you broker an agreement like that? How do you get whoever actually owns the name brand to Batman and to all his subsidiaries, DC, or whoever owns those rights? I don't know how you even broker that deal for an actor. Like, how? Like, that just seems impossible.
Well, it's Jack
But it's
Nicholson.
crazy.
I mean, you know,
Yeah, I know,
he
but
was
that's
huge
what it just-
already. Yeah.
That's so crazy, though. That's so...
Also,
Tim Burton's crazy.
Side note, Robert Wool, the guy who plays Knox in this movie,
Ian Knox.
fucking hate him.
Yeah, he's...
I wanted to hit him the entire movie. He's just like being creepy to Vicky Vale and stuff. Like, oh, you go to lunch with me? Well, like, take the hint, dude. She's a smoke show. You're a no show. Like, get out of here.
Well,
I hate him in that movie.
he does have one. The good interaction he has is with Bruce in the armor room,
Oh,
where he's
yeah.
like, "What can I get you anything?" He's like, "Yeah, can I have $1,000?" And he's like, "Alfred, get Knox $1,000."
Actually, I'm going to correct
Yeah.
that. He asks for a grant.
I don't think he does.
I will bet on that. I just rewatched that movie recently.
A grant for what? He's
Like a grant, like, Bruce Wayne is a billionaire and he's giving grants out to, students and people in need that are trying to get their careers going. He asks him for a grant.
Does
And
the
then that's
subtitles
why-
say that,
that's
or is
why
that
it's-
some
That's
script
why it's
shit?
so weird with that interaction with Alfred when he says that to Alfred. Alfred's like, how the hell do I give someone a grant?
That's
Like,
why I
don't even
think
know
it's
how
a
to-
grand.
Okay.
Because if Bruce is the one capable of giving him a grant, why would he need Alfred to do that?
Prove me wrong.
I don't know. I'm just saying. If the subtitles said that, that doesn't necessarily make it fucking so. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
Oh,
That
no,
is
the
true,
the
unless it's
subtitle-
official subtitles.
The subtitle has lied. I will admit.
Well, anyway,
And, yeah. Sorry.
Batman for me, super important. It was my introduction to Batman. I'd seen the Adam West show as a kid and I liked it, but it doesn't, it's not even close to as good as Burton's. And I think with this movie, everyone involved, from Tim Burton to Nicholson to Keaton, even to Kim Basinger, they all kill it. They all do a really good job, and they reap the benefits from this movie for years to come because it was just a huge success. You couldn't fucking go down the street when this movie was coming out without seeing merchandising fucking everywhere for that shit. And I wasn't around for it, but it's just one of those things you go back and watch in like YouTube videos and shit, and you can just see the impact that it had. And Danny already touched on a lot of the shit that I love about it, so I'm not going to go too much more into it, but like the noir aspects, the fact that it's like a gangster film in a way, the origin of the Joker, it just kind of throws a lot at you in the best possible way. It's got Danny Elfman back again, and then it's got that mix of Prince in there as well. Prince doing some of those original tracks, and the Bat Dance and the Gentleman, Let's Broaden Our Minds scene. That's him too. And like, it's a good
Prince.
soundtrack. Yeah, Prince, the man. For me, Batman is a 10 out of 10, which means I have to hit the 10 out of 10 button. So I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, this is This is probably a 10 out of 10 for me.
Oh wait, it is. Well, that means you have to say it in.
Let me get a 10 out of 10.
Hell yeah, that was like seductive.
That was good.
Rex?
You're trying to lure people in.
What about you?
This may come as a shock to you, but it is a 10 out of 10 for me.
Oh,
That's
even though,
three.
drop, birdie, drop. Woo!
it's a 30. Even though Keaton doesn't die at the end, this movie supersedes that rule of mine. Just because it's Batman. Batman cancels out. I don't want to get beat up by Batman for this.
I do love the speaking of Keaton almost dying in that movie, the practical effects of the Batwing when it crashes. You're like watching it as an adult now. I'm like, man, that's a sweet ass model. Like,
Fuck yeah,
Dude, right?
cool. And then some guy just threw it like a paper airplane or what? You just like, yo. But I like that. Like, even though you know it's not real, like I would rather see that than CGI, where it's like unbelievable. You're like, no.
Well, because they take CGI too far. Like, practical effects can still only go so far before they become cheesy, but it's still believable. It suspends belief
and a
enough.
foreshadow for later on. You know, this guy, king of practical effects with the stuff he does, really ruins it with a little movie called Dumbo.
Oh God,
that elephant wasn't believable.
We'll get there, but holy moly,
we wouldn't even talk about that bitch. Fuck that movie.
Yeah, that one. I'll be honest. I talked to Practical about it, and I couldn't bring myself to watch it. I just didn't care for Dumbo the cartoon.
No, I mean it's a racist cartoon. It's pretty bad.
You don't want live action versions of Disney movies. I'm satisfied with
nowhere near those movies I've seen.
But then they decide to live action it and change it and like twist the stories that we loved and be like, we're gonna make them better, but they're just not.
I'm just curious how much Tim got paid for that.
But I agree with you, Danny. The practical effects in this are good, but yeah, I think it's time we do move on before we go down a hole.
We have so much shit to cover.
Stupid Batman.
We talk about motherfucking Batman all day, and we still have to talk about Batman one more time after Edward Scissorhands. So as a segue into that.
Now, many numerous little questions confront us. Should the man rise when he accepts his cup of tea? May lump sugar be taken with the fingers? No. Is it good form to accept a second cup? Now, should the napkin be entirely unfolded, or should the center crease be allowed to remain? It is so easy to commit embarrassing blunders. But etiquette tells us just what is expected of us and guards us from all humiliation and discomfort.
And now we get to talk about a little movie I like to call Edward Scissorhands.
1990.
Yes, 1990. At this point in Tim's line of film, going back to the first movie, he's set a tone here. He's got Danny back for the composing. He's got an interesting protagonist in Johnny Depp's Edward. That's why I like the clip in the beginning with Vincent Price. I believe this was his final acting role as well. Kind of explaining the do's and don'ts of being human, pretty much, because he built this boy Edward. Just didn't quite get to finish the hands, but no, this is a good movie. This is a guilty pleasure, although I shouldn't say that because Tim's not like that. No, you know what I'm saying.
We aren't like that. We don't believe in guilty pleasures here.
I don't have guilty pleasures, my friends.
You like what you like.
Anyways, no, going back to the aesthetic and the way he shoots this movie, I was talking to Practical about this, I think last night. My favorite scene in the entire movie is when it's like showing the neighborhood and all the houses with their like pastel, bright colors. You see Edward's little manor up on the hill, the castle all bleak and shit. and then all the cars leaving at the same time, and like the husband's leaving and like the wife's coming out waving goodbye and stuff like that. Like he really captured that suburb utopia of, you know, these people just live boring lives, nothing interesting ever happens to them, blah 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 blah. Next thing you know, you got the Avon lady looking to, you know, sell makeup, and nobody's buying, and she thinks, well, somebody lives in that big house, I'm gonna go check that out. Lo and behold, she, you know, pretty much coaxes this guy to come live with her, which is great. I mean, it looks like, you know, nobody's taking care of him, but apparently he doesn't eat, so it doesn't matter.
It's like Frankenstein in reverse.
It really is, yeah. No, I think you mentioned that. You had mentioned that. And so, I love the relationship he builds with the Winona Ryder, and then her little brother.
Yeah, Winona again.
Her little brother, the kid from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Blonde Winona.
Yeah. But no, I love the love story that gets built out of this, and just the way he shoots a lot of this movie is just it's so Tim Burton. I love the scene where they're trying to get Edward to steal all of what's her name's boyfriend's like dad's stuff, like the stereo and stuff, and he's trying to get out of that room, and he's like fucking with the doorknob, like you feel bad for him, but at the same time it's like, why am I feeling bad for this guy? He was literally made, you know, like he's got no family or whatever. And the only family he had was Vinny. And, you know, he croaks pretty early in the film. So, I love this movie. It's a great movie.
I personally like that Anthony Michael Hall goes from playing like a nerdy bitch in Weird Science and Breakfast Club to being like the bully.
Yeah, what the hell?
It's kind of interesting. Like
he's kind of a douchebag.
Yeah, I mean, he is kind of a douchebag, but he's a pretty good actor. Like I don't know, he doesn't get a lot of credit. He's in a lot of classics. I mean, he sucks in Halloween Kills with his fucking Evil Dies Tonight.
Evil dies tonight.
Evil dies tonight.
But I do like him. I don't think he's like a pile of shit or anything. I just think that's always very interesting, because he was like typecasted as the fucking nerd in most of the 80s, and then here comes the 90s, and he's like, fuck that, I'll be in your movie, Tim, but I'm gonna be a bully. Let me bully.
I'm a bully now. Yeah, it's like the opposite of Seth Rogen. Seth Rogen was he was in Donnie Darko as a bully.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. That's
like,
true.
Yeah, like in the background, Seth Rogen's the bully. Like, are you kidding me? Like seeing him now, it's funny. it's like watching and seeing Donnie Darko, him all young and being a bully, and he still has a stupid laugh. It's fucking comical.
But going back to Homeboy, what's his name? Michael Anthony Hall?
Anthony Michael Hall.
Well, you know, I'm dyslexic, sorry. Dude, the death at the end is graphic.
Oh,
when he gets shoved,
he gets
like,
fucked
what's
up.
up with Tim Burton pushing people out of windows? I bet you he's done it.
I think one of the interesting
he's done it.
Gets in an argument with someone, I will Edward Scissorhands you right
Hell yeah.
You better, but yeah.
You're getting pushed, bitch. I like the movie because it kind of feels like a throwback to the Universal Monsters era.
Yeah.
And Vincent Price is even involved, so it's kind of it has that feel to it where, you know, someone's being assembled up in this dark castle, and like you said, the mundane people are so fucking tired of their bullshit lives that they're like, oh, this motherfucker has scissors for hands, which is, by the way, just a wild fucking concept in general, but I do think it works as a movie because it has that classic monster feel. Even though he's not a monster, it's just perception. You know?
That dinner scene when he's cutting the meat. The girl, I can't eat that. He uses his hands. But his hands are awesome.
I want to know how they pitched this movie.
He's all cutting bushes and shit. Like,
yeah, how did they pitch
It's such a good
this movie?
feel-good monster movie. You're right. A feel-good monster movie.
Yeah, it's like you're not supposed to be scared of it.
And he's not trying to murder anybody except for Homeboy at the end.
It feels like a dream, like a fairy tale, the way that Winona Ryder at the end is like narrating it to her daughter or whatever. It feels, or her granddaughter even. She looks old as fuck in that scene.
Yeah, it's her granddaughter.
Yeah. But yeah, another thing too that's cool about this movie, and we get to see it again from Burton in Batman Returns, but I like his setting with like the snow, and you know, it's badass, and we only really get it at the very end of this movie, but it looks really good in contrast to the bright, vibrant suburban area and his darkened castle, and as the story unfolds, all that shit. It's just, I don't know. It's a cool movie. I mean, how do you feel about it, Rex? I as I talk about all this shit, I realize I don't really know how you feel about most Burton films. So that's interesting. I'm like one of the audience.
Well, for Edward Scissorhands, I've always loved this movie since I was a kid. And one scene that I'll never forget, and it always bothers me to watch in a weird way, is when he's cutting the redheaded lady's hair. I can't remember her name. Is it
ambrosia salad. I'm making my ambrosia salad.
My ambrosia. You want to come down to the salon?
Yeah.
No, in that scene when he cuts her hair for the first time.
It's pretty messed up.
Yeah, no, this woman's crazy, but she like almost has an orgasm while he's cutting her hair, and I'll never forget it because it's so weird.
Dude, Joyce, Kathy Baker.
She's a Kathy Baker.
Yeah, she's great. Yeah, that
Joyce. Yeah. I love that. I'm gonna bring my ambrosia salad. No, yeah, this lady's just bad news altogether. She kind of starts the whole kind of
She's like
downward spiral he goes through, which is sad.
I wish those scissors were something else.
Oh yeah.
Oh God. Scissorhands, why don't you have some dildo hands?
You're talking about an uncomfortable scene, dude. The one that bothers me is when he's in the water bed and he just starts.
Oh, dude, right?
Yeah. Like,
he
dude,
pops it
out. Get out of the bed. But yeah, it like bothers me. It makes my eye twitch.
Well, that's what's good about the movie is it kind of takes you along for the like anxiety that he experiences. Or Johnny Depp. Speaking of, get fucking ready, audience, for a long trip with Johnny Depp in these fucking movies. He's in so many movies, dude.
He's in so many. His first one here.
Yeah. This is the first one for him. Their first collab.
Yep.
He does a good job, Johnny Depp, like in this movie, like portraying just how weird to him everything is.
Oh,
like in his face, he's just looks like this dark guy, but like they're showing him all this stuff, and his eyes are like just like, oh fuck, what the fuck is going on?
Movie. He looks like he's gonna cry, and you can't help but look at the scars on his face. Like I'm sure he's cried numerous times, and he's trying to wipe the tears and just.
Just slice.
Do you guys think
he
cried when he walked into the room and he saw that turd in his bed? Do you think?
Oh my God. All I know is the picture I saw, she took that thing out of the toilet and threw it on his bed. That's disgusting. That's gross.
Oh man. I can only imagine what you're thinking. He's like, how does someone that beautiful do something that terrible?
I'll tell you what, she's crazy.
Yeah.
She's just a crazy woman.
She's crazy.
Oh yeah, she's crazy. I mean, Amber Turd dropped the turd.
That's why her filmography will never touch her ex-husband's, and it's awesome, like you said, that this is his first with Timmy. Because I think Tim Burton had a lot to do with his career, and shaping it where Ed Wood might not be as strongest, but you've got, it could be, what's his name? Ichabod Crane. Yeah, Ichabod. Thank you. Oh, we're all correctors now. Okay, cool. Ichabod
we got to get
Crane
it right for the audience.
Sleepy Hollow. Dude, I love that role for him. We cannot talk about Charlie. And then Sweeney, which is my favorite, but that's because I love musicals. So,
well, if that's the case, this is the first time we see that motherfucker. And having said that, what do y'all rate Edward Scissorhands?
It's going to be a 7 for me.
A 7. All right. Rex?
I'm on par with that. It's a 7.
I'd probably give it about an 8. This was a big one for my childhood as well. I just started to get really into Tim Burton after Beetlejuice and then Batman.
You gave it an 8 because you loved Winona Ryder with blonde hair.
No, well... Yes, I do, but I don't know if that really plays a factor because she's blonde in Mr. Deeds, and that movie sucks.
That's a different kind of blonde, though. In this one, she's like platinum, and that one, she's got the dirty blonde. Like she was, going for the Jennifer Aniston. I'm on Friends look, and little did we know she was shoplifting back then. So.
She can steal my heart. I think I said that before.
Oh my God. You missed it on Beetlejuice, but I think she comes back in again, so you can mention her again.
Oh, I'll mention her. I think I can mention her one more time before Beetlejuice too, because I think she does a voice in Frankenweenie. But Yeah, well, I mean, that's good. I think we all basically appreciate and respect Edward Scissorhands, which is cool. And with that said, we're going to lead right into another Batman tangent with...
Admiring your handiwork.
Touring the riot scene. Gravely assessing the devastation. Upstanding mayor stuff.
You're not the mayor.
Things change.
Batman Returns, 1992. The return of Michael Keaton
The Return of Michael Go.
and the return
Alfred,
of Michael Go.
sorry.
That motherfucker is
Michael
back.
Go.
And you know the
The real
expectations
star,
for
everybody.
this movie were probably fucking through the roof at the time. I was young, like I said, so I can't really comment on like, oh my god. But, you know.
I'm pretty sure I saw this in the theater.
Oh, I definitely saw it in the theater. Yeah, I was 7. My dad took me. This is my first ever movie in the theater.
Hell yeah.
But like I wasn't paying attention to hype in like magazines or newspapers because we didn't have the motherfucking internet.
Yeah,
at the
because you're
time, so-
eating cereal.
And I'm 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fucking 7 years.
Yeah, I'm 7. I don't know anything about the world.
I'm 7.
Yeah, well, what's the theater? Yeah. Why don't you kick us off on this one, Rex? Batman Returns.
Well, Batman Returns, 1992. This is 3 years after Batman 89.
Mm-hmm.
Not that long.
Things change,
But-
as Penguin said in the clip before we started. Things
Things do
change.
change in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Things are changing, and what another casting for a villain. Like, who would have thought Danny DeVito? I mean, he's a perfect fit. Like
for sure.
Like you're
For-
telling me
for
this
this type
twin
of
from
movie?
Twins is the Penguin?
Dude, I think of him as that dude, the like stupid one from Who Flew Over the, or the one that flew over the cuckoo's nest. Like
Oh,
he's
yeah,
in
yeah,
that
yeah.
as well, and these just, I don't know. Danny DeVito is awesome. I love Danny DeVito. Like so much of the stuff he's done, has done. I love. My favorite is still him as Frank, and It's Always Sunny.
Oh yeah.
Just the decline from his first season and season 2 all the way to now is epic in epic proportions. But for this movie, you know what? I didn't watch this one as much. I can't tell you why, but
It's got different tones to it.
I didn't. Yeah, it's still got the same. It's still Tim Burton, and you can tell in all ways and how it's done. And you know, it's Catwoman is absolutely just.
I was gonna say
she's hot.
there was
She
one
and Michelle
reason-
Pfeiffer
one
killed
reason
it.
alone
Holy
that
moly!
I rewatched this movie as much as I did, and it was her. Even
Yeah,
when she
that's
was like
fair.
the dumb, Selena Kyle, like clumsy secretary. I'm like, I don't know what it is, but like, I wish I could have been that guy that when she comes home, honey, I'm home. Be like, yo, what's up, Selena? Like going in. But no, she's the best part of this movie for me. But continue.
I think, well, one thing I want to interject with too is like, we talked about this before. Actually, I don't know if I've talked about it with you guys, either of you, but I will mention, I think it's hard in any scenario to follow the Joker as the villain, which is why he should never be
absolutely.
first and never be second even. He should be third movie territory every goddamn time. And you're not top. Danny DeVito's great. Michelle Pfeiffer is great. The movie's still good, but they don't hold the torch to Jack Nicholson being Joker. Like,
Oh, 100%.
so to me, and all that said, I do think Tim Burton did the best job of following those up, or following Joker up with these villains, and I think no one else has been able to do that. I mean, Dark Knight Rises is a fat pile of shit, in my opinion, but...
And Max
Dark Knight Rises
Schreck in
is
this
definitely
movie
not that great.
An unnecessary villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I don't like Max Schreck in this at all, and
he just
I mean,
feels
he's
shoehorned
kind of-
in.
it's
he's
weird
kind of the
because
Penguin's
Christopher
handler at the beginning,
Walken
but-
is usually great.
Yeah.
He's still
kind of
great,
the
though.
Penguin's
Like-
handler in this movie, though.
Yeah.
If you think about it, he's the reason that he starts to run for mayor and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then Penguin kind of realizes, like, okay, I don't know if I like this. I don't like being the center of attention and blah 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 blah. And then he kind of snaps and loses his shit. But no, he was really, really good in this movie.
And he was disgusting as fuck too.
Oh, yeah,
Holy
yeah.
moly, that dude is so gross. Oh my god, his mouth is constantly just like black stuff coming out. Like they did a great job with him and all his penguins, and like it's just.
Also, shout out
they did a good job on him.
Paul Rubens is the father.
Yes, and the mother is the woman from the diner. I forget her name. From Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Oh, yeah.
There is a tie-in there.
That's pretty awesome.
That's a great little, hey, thanks for mentioning Pee-wee.
Let me just pop them in here and they'll notice.
Thanks for coming.
There is a really popular picture of Michelle Pfeiffer that is a sweet scene from that movie when Max Schreck is talking to her, and you see the shades, her glasses, the shadow creates the Catwoman like mask on her face.
That's right before he pushes her out the.
Right before, like
absolutely.
It's absolutely brilliant, and it was. Yeah, Tim Burton's great. I can't really tell you why I didn't watch this one as much as I did 89, but. I still think this movie is absolutely great. Tim Burton still did a great job. And you're right. To follow up after the Joker, every time it's failed except for him. And his still didn't do as good with the villains, but they were still great villains.
One thing that's cool is that the Catwoman scene where she whips the mannequin heads. A nice trivia fact about that is they brought in like a world-renowned whip artist, whatever you want to call her, whipper. To teach her how to do that shit, and she was so determined that she would do it herself that she ended up doing it, and she did it in one fucking take. So it's like the guy that taught her to do that couldn't even believe she was able to do that in one take, and I think that's pretty badass. Like a nice little side fact that she was so into the role that she was like, oh, I'm gonna fucking knock those motherfuckers out.
Oh
yeah. The only thing I wish that they might have tried with this one is, I mean, they're doing it now with Pattinson's, but maybe tried more of a romance between Batman and her. Like they did a small one.
Romance in this movie.
Yeah, there's 100%. A small one, like, but it just that's kind of where that's the long and short of it.
When she kind of figures out who he is because he knows who she is. That there's a scene where they're dancing at like a mayor's ball or whatever. It's the iconic scene which. Danny DeVito comes up on that giant duck right in the middle of the or whatever. Like, I was just going to mention that. It's one of the first times that, like, Tim Burton takes, like, a female lead and makes her, like, vulnerable. Like, you kind of feel sorry for her a little bit. Because, like, she likes being Catwoman, you could tell. But, like, a part of her is like, I just want to fall in love with you, Bruce Wayne, and, you know, never have to worry about working again, blah, blah, blah. And he's on to him. Or she's onto him and he's onto her. And I think they kind of reveal, if I remember correctly, that they know that they're each other. And it's like this weird tension. And then going back to the end of the movie when she's about to kill Christopher Walken, that whole, like, you know, unloading and just the back and forth banter between them. Like, there clearly was a relationship kind of going on. But you're right. It's nothing like they redid with the Batman with Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz. Like, I liked that dynamic, so I'm curious if they re-explore that. But no, yeah, this movie though, Michelle Pfeiffer is my absolute favorite part. I love her transition into Catwoman. Don't even get me started on the leather, and no, she played it so well. She was very menacing and mentally unstable. Clearly, getting pushed out of however many floors she drops in the beginning, but she eats shit, and that's her first life. And I love that it counts down all of her lives and up until the end and the climactic finish. But no, this is a good Batman movie too. I watched this one quite frequently. But yeah, I liked it because of the Christmas. I like the Christmas atmosphere.
You're a Christmas guy.
The Christmas atmosphere. No, but like you were saying before with Edward Scissorhands, the snow, winter wonderland vibe that he introduced in that, he used again in this, and it really made this a different movie from the first Batman. So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
One gripe I have to mention that I've always had with this movie when I talk about it with anyone is she got licked back to life by cats. That's
yeah.
I'm always like,
They
what
look out for their own.
fuck?
Dude.
Like, I don't know.
They look out for their own.
It just always was like kind of weird. Like, I'm supposed to believe that? Does that mean if like somebody pushes me out of a fucking window and I die and they lick me back to life, I'm gonna be a fucking cat man?
It's a comic book movie, dude. God.
No, obviously.
Yeah, but
I'm just
think about
fucking
like
around.
how
I was 7. I was 7.
You were asking too many questions. Remember that?
all of a sudden Aaron
many
keeps
questions.
asking his parents for cats. He's like, Mom, I need a cat. Can we get a couple cats?
I'm thinking about jumping off the roof. I might.
Yeah, I'm gonna fall off the roof. Can you make sure they're outside?
For me, I like the movie a lot, and I like what they did with Penguin, but I don't like the political aspects of like him running for mayor and shit. I know that's like a...
But that's the plug for the Max Shrek thing, which again,
Yeah.
I think is
Yeah.
dumb.
I don't think it works for me personally as like a intention for what I like about the Batman villains with Batman in contrast is just that they're all kind of crazy, and even Batman's crazy, but he's like, oh, I'm a good crazy, they're a bad crazy, I'm gonna take them out. I want to see them do crazier, wackier shit and not be like, I'm gonna infiltrate Gotham's political fucking climate. Like, get the fuck out of here. That's like Lex Luthor in Superman Returns. His master plan's like, I've been buying up all this real estate, and Superman's like, and the fuck does that have to do with me?
Yeah. Okay, good job.
Going to buy in a place, okay?
But overall, I love it as well. I don't watch it nearly as much as 89. I'm in that boat as well. I probably watch it like maybe once every year or two, unlike 89, which I will watch probably once, twice, 3 times a year sometimes. I don't know. But I like it. I would give it a solid rating of like probably like in 7. Solid 7 for me. Good film. Not a great film. Nowhere near as good as the first. That's just me, though. That's my take.
What'll it be, Rex? What are your numbers?
I'm at a 7 with it as well. It might come shocking, but I was at the time I liked 89 Batman and I liked Batman Forever more. So I'm more gravitated to watching both of those. But I do think I'm with Aaron on par. I think it's a good movie, not a bad movie. I watch it probably about the same as him once every so often if I'm in the mood to watch a Batman, like all of them. But yeah, I think a solid 7 is for this. Burton definitely keeps the style and he does keep the form. It's just, hard to follow up to Jack Nicholson. It's hard to follow up to 89 with, just at all. And he did his best.
Shocking. My rating is not 10, but relatively close.
Not 10.
I'm going to go 1 up on both of you guys. I'm going to give it an 8.
That's fair.
That's fair.
But it's because I watch it more regularly than you two do. And Michelle Pfeiffer gets me going. And
Get fifed.
I like the different... the use of the cinematography in this movie is so much more different, which I like. That it separates itself from the other Batman movie. You don't feel like, oh, it's just like the first one, With a lot of sequels, people are like, it was just like the first one. But this had its similarities, but it was way different from the first one. So, yeah, 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. All right. Well, we're moving right along. And with that, we're going to move right into...
The Invisible Ray. You were great as Karloff's sidekick.
Karloff? Sidekick? Fuck you!
Ed Wood, 1994. Pretty interesting movie. Focuses on like a semi-popular but somewhat failed director named Ed Wood and all his eccentricities and the things that make him kind of stand out in Hollywood at the time. Return of Johnny Depp. He's back.
He's definitely not the same though.
No.
He's a little over the top and quirky in this movie.
Which apparently Ed Wood was.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I guess you're not used to it. Especially, when the kid came on the scene, Nightmare on Elm Street, obviously the bed pulling scene, iconic, whatever. Then
Hell
he
yeah.
comes in and does, Edward Scissorhands, and it's like completely different. He doesn't speak really the whole movie. You know, you kind of feel sorry for him, and it's just a different vibe with him. This movie is another 180 of who the hell, like, you didn't know he could attempt to be funny. I mean, some of the stuff he does in this is not funny. You're like, what the shit? But I think that's the build off of the character. He's eccentric and whatnot, but it's a pretty okay movie. There's some good stars in here. Sarah Jessica Parker, who I absolutely don't care for. I think this was like one of her first up and coming movies, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. Martin Landau plays Bela Lugosi, which is freaking hilarious.
Fuck you. Like it said in the clip in the beginning.
Oh my god.
He's fucking like, I'm nobody's sidekick. Fuck you.
Yeah, you're telling him he's a sidekick. He does not like that.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Murray's in this movie too, but I like this idea of how he shot this movie because it's black and white. I like some of those ideas sometimes when movies want to do that. It doesn't always work, but for this one, it kind of made sense. And yeah, it's a weird, goofy movie. Totally kind of outside of the previous movies we've been talking about. Obviously, there's no superheroes in this one or monsters or what have you. It's more or less just this eccentric, dumbass director who's, trying to make a great movie.
Well, there's a monster in this movie. You said, Sarah Jessica Parker was in here.
Oh, yeah, the horse.
Yeah, she's a centaur, one of those horse people.
That's fucked up. But
I'm sorry if people like her. I really am. It's just a personal preference. I don't care for her, okay?
I don't care for horses.
Sure, enjoy.
She just, So, Rex, as I understand it, you have not seen this movie.
And that's all right.
Yep. I wasn't able to find it streaming, and
that's okay.
I am upset that I didn't, because I've never even heard of this movie.
Fuck streaming. That's why. Fuck it into the ground.
This is not one of his bigger movies. I mean, when you say Tim Burton, nobody's like, oh my God, I love Ed Wood. No, nobody really says that.
It's weird because I thought it was like a biopic or like a...
It kind of is.
It kind of is. It kind of makes fun of it, more or less.
It's just like, it's a biopic in the sense of they're telling a story that's based on Ed Wood and a couple of the productions he was going through during the course of the movie, just to show off basically Ed Wood, who was a pretty weird guy in general. So it is like a biopic. It's just a biopic the way Tim Burton would do it, basically, which is wacky, but it's entertaining. I don't dislike.
It's got to be with all these people in it. Bill Murray, Sarah Jessica Horse.
Yeah.
But I hope to see it one day. If I ever see it on streaming, I'll probably put it on because I do like Johnny Depp and Tim Burton enough to watch it.
It's worth giving a shot, but I feel like all of his movies aren't even, some of the ones we're going to get to that we don't like. Dumbo. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, it's not one of the ones that stands out for me as far as his movies. Obviously the Batmans and stuff like that, and some other ones we're going to get to here, but it's okay. I agree with Prack over here. It's entertaining. Definitely not his best. So
yeah. It is what it is for a middle ground movie for him. Like, they can't all be zingers. I say that all shit.
I guess we can't really get excited and talk about this one as much as the others, which is unfortunate, but
yeah.
Unlike some people, we watched it.
Hey, I'm sorry.
I'm just playing.
For me, I don't think I need to say a ton more about it. Like I said, it's Johnny Depp vehicle, basically shows off another aspect of his abilities, and for the time period, it's cool, and I think it's worth watching. It's great within the context of what you're watching, but do I find myself watching it often? No, I don't. I watched it 2 weeks ago because we were doing this, and I got a little crash course, and I hadn't seen it in a while, but I'd give it a 6. And that's
I'm
it.
gonna follow your lead with that.
Dose 6s. Rex, your rating.
It's going to be a to be determined. I'm sure it's an okay movie, so I'll give it a unknown rating of 5.
Oh, all right. I mean, halfway there.
An unknown rating of 5. Hell yeah! I got to keep track of all of the different rating categories you have.
Well, that's probably the only one, unless I haven't seen it. So when I watch it, I'll update you on it.
The stars here soon, okay?
Yeah, just pop in randomly in a future episode and be like, by the way, Ed Wood, light 8, or whatever. Actually, don't use the light 8 or light 6 scale. That Anthony Fucktano douchebag does that shit, and fuck that guy. But all that said, we're moving right along once again, and with that, Mars Attacks, 1996, a fairly polarizing movie depending on who you talk to. Some people love it, some people hate it. I've never really found any middle ground. What do you guys think of this movie? Having said that, I'm curious.
First things first, Sarah Jessica Parker's in this movie again, and I question Tim Burton. What do you see in her? Because like her role is kind of pivotal in this movie because of, you know, the whole her getting her head replaced on her dog or whatnot. But I guess I'm not seeing it. She's just not a good actress to me.
Yeah, she doesn't have the good acting chops. Like we talk about her looks, but looks aside, like I've just never been impressed by her.
Yeah.
She entertains.
Well, that's why she stuck to Sex in the City for her whole life.
There you go. Yeah.
And people love that show, so I'm glad she was able to carve a little success out for herself. But I just, in terms of longevity as a movie star, she's not for me.
But I am not giving her any of my attention for the rest of this. Great cast.
She's been shunned.
Yes. Besides her, no, great cast in this movie.
Oh my god, it's a star-studded cast. That is crazy. It's everybody.
You're Michael J. Fox. You're Danny DeVito, Martin Short, Pierce Brosnan, Jack Nicholson,
Natalie Portman.
Yeah,
Jack Black.
The late
Fully loaded
Jim Brown.
Yeah.
Like he got everybody in on this movie.
I like the different environments in this movie. You know, whether it's at the White House with Jack Nicholson and Glenn Close, you know, being the first family and him trying to figure things out, or versus, you know, the young kid with the grandma out in the country who ends up, you know, finding the secret weapon to killing these things, and then the whole Vegas lineup of people with like Ving Rhames and Danny DeVito. I like the little groups of celebrities they have, so they're not all in like the same scene at once, to kind of overtake, you know, what the movie's really about, which is pretty much an alien invasion gone awry. They think that it's going to be peaceful, and no shit, it's not. But yeah,
it's cool because it's a callback to like old school sci-fi
and
movies.
Oh yeah, definitely.
For it being 1996, the computer generated images of the aliens isn't horrible. You know, obviously you can tell
it's not horrible.
And one of the most fakest parts of you can notice it is when I think it's later in the film when Ving Rhames is like fighting one of them. Or no, not Ving Rhames. God damn it. Jim Brown. God, I'm sorry. I mean, they kind of look the same, but that's never right. No, Jim Brown fucking boxing one of them, and you can clearly tell he's just like swinging at a hair as you're older. But as a kid, you're like, oh man, he's beating the shit out of that thing, you know? But I like this movie. It's funny. It's quirky. It definitely doesn't try to take itself seriously. And then, yeah, that song at the end being the secret weapon is pretty funny. But yeah, what do you guys think of this alien film?
It's a hell of a lot better than Independence Day.
Oh my god!
What a statement. Okay,
I just don't like that movie. I in terms of alien invasion movies, I would much rather watch Mars Attacks. Not that I think that Mars Attacks is this fucking stellar movie, but I think Independence Day is a lot shittier than everyone in the world seems to be willing to admit, and I don't get it.
I wish Bill Pullman was here as the president to punch you in the face.
Fuck Bill Pullman.
That's ridiculous.
I'm just kidding.
He has the best presidential speech no president has ever given.
Sucks. That speech is terrible.
It doesn't. You know what? You suck.
Yeah,
dude,
right?
That speech ends with him saying, "Today's the day we celebrate our Independence Day."
Epic.
It sounds like shit.
Well, that's because you didn't listen to the beginning. It's a great
you didn't.
No, you can't say...
Hey, he's saying that off the top. He doesn't have writers. He's a president.
Fuck him.
He's awesome, dude.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, he's so awesome in that movie.
Write speeches. That's what there are. Anyway, I just personally don't like that movie, and I prefer Mars Attacks only because when I was a kid and we first saw Mars Attacks come out on VHS at the time. It was one of those movies we went to Blockbuster, we rented it, really had no idea what it was going to be. I was pretty fucking entertained by it at the time, so I can't take it away from that. It just has so much going on, and everything is popping, and I had watched some of those sci-fi alien invasion movies that it's kind of spoofing here, so I even at 11, I was like, oh, this is obviously kind of like a parody, and my dad confirmed that with me. He's like, these remind me of that old school shit. So I know it's like homage. So that's why I don't judge it as harshly, and it's cool for that. But other than that, it's not a stellar movie for me either. So
because you hate Independence Day?
Yeah. We're going to talk about that movie on our Independence Day.
Oh yeah, that'd be a great idea.
Just gonna let you know that.
We're gonna circle right back to Aaron's favorite movie.
I will.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely do that one. God bless America.
I will talk shit the whole fucking time. Fuck what about you, Rex? What do you think about Mars Attacks? Because you've seen this one.
Yeah, Mars Attacks. This is more like a Burton movie than I feel like we've seen in Batman Returns, and then I don't know about Ed Wood, but this one has his quirky take, and yeah, it definitely seems like a parody of movies like The Day the Earth Stood Still and like some other ones, which makes it really great. And again, how do you get a star-studded cast like this? Like, did Jack Nicholson pull another one on him and get like all the rights to aliens in any 100%. Movie ever merchandised ever? But no, it's an interesting movie. I don't understand why you compare this one to Independence Day. I mean, I guess because it is an alien invasion, but I mean, like, this one's a comedy.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, Independence Day takes itself seriously-ish. They got Will Smith.
That's exactly the fucking point I'm trying to make about Independence Day, motherfucker.
What?
That movie is cheesy as fuck, and Will Smith is always dropping one-liners, and Jeff Goldblum's doing his sultry douchebag thing, and it's just like, it's not. It's supposed to be taken seriously, but anyone with eyes and ears can clearly see that movie is shitty. That's all I'm saying.
It's comic relief. Shit. It's like the Avengers. It's comic relief. The world's ending, but we're gonna throw in a joke here.
Yeah, I'll throw that movie in the trash. Actually, I did throw that movie in the trash. I had a DVD copy of it, and I was like, fuck this movie. I'm not keeping it. But that's Independence Day. This is Mars Attacks. And
this is Mars Attacks.
I compared them because, again, alien invasion, they both face similar things where it's like they don't really know what they're getting into. The aliens come in, and yeah, one's a comedy, but it's only a comedy after the aliens get there. Like, they're what make everything so wacky. And I don't know. That's just my outlook on it. I don't love either movie, but I will prefer Mars Attacks over Independence Day. That's all.
That's interesting. I think this movie is funny. I think it's cool for what it is. I don't much care for it again. It's one I don't really watch. I don't really recommend it ever to anybody. If someone's like, what's a cool alien movie? This isn't one that really comes to my head.
Yeah. I mean,
after watching this recently, I realized why I don't watch it too much is that it is cool and everything, but it's just not my type of alien movie or invasion movie. I'm gonna watch Independence Day. But
That's a shame.
I'm gonna give it probably like a 6.5.
Ooh, I give it about a 5. It's okay.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, Rex. I'm about a 6.5 for me.
Well, I don't know what Danny was saying about it. I do think for how early it was a good attempt at the new kind of computer generated stuff, whatever they were doing, and a little bit mix of their practical effects for him, which, they did their best and it looked pretty cool. Like, I think the alien design was pretty kind of nutty and I liked it. But for Tim Burton, I don't think this is one of his better ones, and I think 6.5 is perfect.
Oh yeah, for sure. And there's so many things that could have made it more, a higher rating for me, but because it's more comedy based and it's making fun of those alien movies or whatever. But 6.5 is a solid stand for me too.
Hell yeah. Well, that brings us on to one that I'm actually excited to talk about, and that is...
This one was a Hessian mercenary, sent to these shores by German princes to keep Americans under the yoke of England. But unlike his compatriots, who came for money, the horseman came for love of carnage.
1999, Sleepy Hollow. This is very much more of a horror movie aspect than Tim Burton has done in a while. Although sometimes people classify Beetlejuice as like borderline horror, but I think there's too much comedy in that movie for me to agree with that. But he's got returning people again. My boy Michael Gow, he's back. He's back.
He's back for sure.
6 times.
He's my favorite Alfred.
6 times already.
Every time I see him in a movie, it makes me like, it's like a grandparent you miss.
So is Jeffrey Jones, which is unfortunate.
Yes.
He was a longtime collaborator with Tim Burton.
I know, that's what you see him pop up in all these movies, and it's so unfortunate that he has to be the guy that he is.
Looking at this cast, how is he getting these people? I mean, this wasn't super star-studded, but getting Christopher Walken to play the Horseman, Ian McDermott, Christina Ricci,
blonde Christina Ricci, looking so damn.
Dude, even Johnny Rico, Casper Van Dien is in this movie. Okay, no, it's a good cast. I like the time period because it fits with his style. It fits with the way he wants you to know you know that you're watching a Tim Burton movie. Well, I do love the love interest between Christina Ricci and Johnny Depp in this movie. It's kind of wrong, but very right, if that makes sense.
I feel like it's super haphazardly done. Like I don't know.
But it makes you question, especially as you watch this. You're like, God, was she was old enough? I would assume. I mean,
oh no, she totally was.
Yeah. Makes you a little worrisome sometimes, especially with everything that's happened in Hollywood. You're like, just making sure.
All my heroes are scumbags.
But
every single one. Well, actually, it turned out Johnny Depp wasn't.
No. He's a good guy.
It came out he really wasn't the dirtbag.
In that particular instance, I don't trust none of these motherfuckers.
He's a weirdo that drinks wine. Leave him alone. It's fine. But yeah, this obviously is the story of Ichabod Crane. The doctor, mortician, both.
Yeah.
I mean, and he was kind of like a detective in this movie too.
It's just like a weird retelling of the Headless Horseman.
Right.
Yeah, it's like a loosely one, but yeah, he's like a jack of all trades when it comes to that. And this movie.
He's kind of badass in this, but he's also kind of vulnerable in this movie too. So, different kind of play for good old Johnny. Back again for another Burton classic for him. I like the time period of this movie. I like these older movies like this. Not having cars and automatic guns and cell phones and shit like that. Like, dude, having the little musket gun you had to pack the gunpowder in and shit like they have in this. Badass swords, hell yeah. But yeah, I like this movie. It's got a dark undertone to it. It's definitely different from some of his other movies that I'm not a huge fan of, the Ed Wood and There's a few others we'll get to, but I like this movie. This is good time period piece. The costume design is great. Christopher Walken as the Horseman, creepy as fuck.
For sure,
very scary.
But
this movie,
I really like the kind of steampunkiness they have to it.
Yeah.
Like it's also a great time period piece for them, but the steampunk they kind of add to everything. I really like in this movie, and I wouldn't want to know what it's like to own a freaking like musket or one of those old timey pistols. You have to like use the stick to fill in like a stressful situation, like you miss and you're like, oh geez, you know.
That's why they carried the sword though.
Yeah, no, exactly. But it's just, God, it's got to be so like it's crazy.
One thing I like about this movie is it's that like Silent Hill kind of feel, and the fact that the townspeople are in on this curse and they know about it, and it's like they don't want it to be happening, but they're all very aware of why it's happening, and I like that about it. It's got like an air of conspiracy in it, and I like that. But it's a damn dark movie. And it was a movie that I watched a billion times when I first saw it, because the setting is perfect for Halloween. And it just, a lot of visuals in the movie are badass, like when he's walking around with the two severed heads. When
he harpoons Baltus.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Dude, so awesome.
And he's riding the horse, and the horse will do that thing where it stands on two legs and shit, and he's just got the sword in his hand, and it looks cool. Plus, and there's everything with the witch, and the way the trees look are very Burton-esque, so you get that atmosphere that you're looking for if you're going into a Burton movie. And I like it. I actually think it's probably one of his better movies because it's so different, but it's also so Burton, if that makes any sense.
Yes, so Burton.
Yeah. Oh, he's so Burton.
It just shows his style still. Like, he still is able to do this kind of like how Danny said, kind of horror-esque movie, a period horror-esque movie, but still with his color tones he chooses to use, the style like, even the way they dress and stuff, to me, it feels like a Tim Burton style. Like, even though it is a period piece, it's still everything they wear to, like I said, the steampunk all has this Tim Burton-esque to it.
Yeah.
And it's still, he's really good at showing his style in different types of storytelling, no matter what it is, even with Big Eyes, which we'll get into later. But no, this movie, I did not know that you liked this movie that much, Practical. I didn't know that.
To me, it's one of the ones that, I even own a VHS copy of it just for nostalgia. It's just one of those movies to me. Like, it's not incredible, but if I was going to recommend 5 movies from Tim Burton to somebody, I'd probably put that one in there, just because it does have what I could see as a lot of his like gothic horror shit coming out like front and center. Even though it's a period piece and shit, it encapsulates a lot of what we've seen from him before. But he gets like a bigger playground for it, kind of, in a way, because it was a big deal when it came out. It was like a big budget horror movie for the time. So, I don't know. I enjoy it. I
think it's a good movie. I've liked it, and like I said, I really like his take on that era.
Yeah,
because it's so Tim Burton style, and I also like Johnny Depp's performance. To what Danny said, yeah, he does seem like he plays a more vulnerable role. Yeah. It's a great movie, and
he comes across as weak to me, and he's supposed to, because he's playing Ichabod Crane, and Ichabod Crane's like a wuss. But what's weird about that is that Ichabod Crane is, this guy in the book anyway, that he's just kind of a shy dude, and Johnny Depp is like an all-around guy in this movie, and it makes me wonder how he got to that, if he's supposed to be this, like, I don't know, this shy loser kind of guy, but not. He's like respected. It's weird. The two elements the movie tries to throw at you for Johnny Depp almost don't work, I guess, but it still works for me, personally.
I mean, I think, this is a retelling of the Headless Horseman, but you got to remember that, you know, Tim Burton's going to add his kind of style, and I think that that's kind of why he's an all-around man, all-around guy. Because even Edward Scissorhand, being how he was, you know, with the scars and everything, he was just kind of an all-around guy. He liked everybody pretty much, except, you know. But I think that kind of comes with Tim Burton's like characters. I mean, I take that back. Depends on the character.
He has a weird like obsession with, if there's a love interest in the movie, a lot of blondes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've noticed.
He might have a type, but wasn't he married to Helen Bohemian Carter?
For a while.
Yes.
Bonham. Helena Bonham
Did you just
Carter.
say Helena Bohemian?
One?
What? Helena Bonham.
The only reason
Like
I know
John
how to
Bonham,
say that name is because of John Bonham from
There
Led
you go.
Zeppelin, and
Yeah.
that's it. Zepp.
But yeah, he likes to have the blonde love interest thing. He likes to have like the town people, like you were saying earlier, Prack, that, you know, they're either in on it or they're all just kind of like very sheepy. They kind of conform, follow some other people, shit like that. But yeah, this is definitely a Tim Burton-esque movie, minus the complete horror aspect of it. That really kind of throws you off, and he likes to show a lot of, you know, going back to the practical effects, like the face shots. Like, there's that scene with the witch where their fucking eye comes out looking like a tree root and shit. Reminds me of Beetlejuice when he, you know, shows his face and shit like that. So yeah, he's gotten to a point now in his filmography when we're at this film that he's like, all right, I got to throw this in there, you know, so people will know it's me. I got to throw this and this and this, and that's just kind of becoming his MO as this is going on. We're going down his directorial movies. Yeah.
However you call it. His filmography.
Things, movies, hell yeah.
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 Dude.
Yeah, that's exactly how I would describe it.
For this, okay? God.
Libation, all right.
I was nervous.
Well, fellas, I give this movie a 7.
Yeah, I agree. A very nice 7.
I'm pretty on board with 7 on this movie as well.
You better be.
Conform, damn it.
Right.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, 7's fair for it all around because it's entertaining. You can recommend it to people. You know, it's
got a great cast.
Yeah, exactly. Good
Which
effects.
I also throw back to the last movie or to Mars Attacks. Just want to say, how the hell did he get Pierce Brosnan to do that? Because wasn't that during his James Bond era?
Bond was 1995, GoldenEye.
It's money, man.
So it was. I mean,
I'm just saying, like,
he probably filmed a lot of that James Bond movie before Mars Attacks, but he really wasn't prevalent before then because he had what was oh my god, what was that show he was on?
When was Mrs. Doubtfire?
It was like
96?
Lexington Steel, or no, that's the porn star. Jesus Christ!
Oh my god! All right,
we're talking about wholesome movies, Danny.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of, because he wasn't like a well-known actor really at that point. Yes,
right.
British TV shows and what have you and stuff like that. But like, yeah, dude, that James Bond GoldenEye kind of threw him in there. But yeah, it was right before Mars Attacks, so
it's that money.
It was probably pretty easy. That was, I think, one of the later credits for Michael J. Fox before he kind of came out with his Parkinson's diagnosis, because he looks great in that movie too. But I know he was already still struggling with it then and hadn't really let anybody know. So
he was doing that Spin City around the same time too, I think.
I was just thinking that Spin City. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, that is moving us along to a real fucking stinker in my book. I don't know if I really want to talk about this one, but that does lead us to...
Take your stinking hands off me, you damn dirty human!
Planet of the Apes 2001. Fuck this movie. I don't like it.
Damn.
Not good to me. I don't know why it happened. I don't know why it exists. I don't understand it. I mean, it just didn't land for anybody at the time. It was a box office failure. It was a failure for him. I love that little clip we used with the whole fucking reversal.
Michael Clark Duncan.
Yeah.
Why? And again,
what the fuck?
I don't know if he's has like racist themes. Like, why does he have to be the big black gorilla?
What?
It seems a little offensive to me. But anyways,
I mean,
yeah, I've literally watched this movie once in my life, and I'm not gonna lie, for this podcast, I absolutely skipped it, which I'm sure you two did too.
Absolutely,
because we've watched it once and we realize how much of a pile of shit it is.
Once was too many times.
I may have seen this a couple times.
You gotta be kidding me! Oh my god! Hey,
yeah.
Anyways,
no, I'm not.
No, I was gonna say some of the camera angles on this don't make me think that it's not Tim Burton. I don't know. Like, it reminds me of like some J.J. Abrams shit.
It looks like a made-for-TV movie.
Right. Well, that too, but like, there's certain instances where like it's showing the monkeys jump around and like the way the camera's moving. Yeah, it makes me think of like a completely different. Obviously, maybe a cinematographer he used or whatever, but it didn't feel like Tim Burton, and I think that took me out of it. Not to mention that Planet of the Apes, I've seen, I think, the first two original ones with Charlton Heston.
Mm-hmm.
Not for me. Those practical effects are sweet. This is just like harping on that and trying to be better and trying to make it cool again. And also, it's not believable because it's set in 2029, which is 5 years from now. So,
oh yeah, we're going to the Planet of the Apes.
I was going to say, unless
it depends on who gets elected.
Yeah, unless some asteroid hits Earth, some organism hits a human, and it happens to be crossbred with a monkey, I don't see this being realistic. Now, obviously, it's a movie. I get that. But yeah, Mark Wahlberg is the lead. That's like Mark Wahlberg being the lead in The Happening with M. Night Shyamalan. Like, he had no business. He had no business being in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
They had no business running from the wind.
Because
I mean, honestly, Mark Wahlberg has no business being in most movies
by then.
Yeah,
like I'm curious. Yeah, I'm gonna look into that right now. But yeah, what do you guys think of this pile of shit?
It's a pile of shit, and I don't have anything else to really say about it other than that. I know it has another blonde actress in it because this might be his thing, but that Estella Warren, that chick is not an actress. She was like a model,
right?
And this is why we shouldn't be doing shit like that. Like, leave the acting to actors, because she was fucking awful in that movie. And oh man, even after all these years, that movie fucking just pisses me off. So like, I don't know. Rex, you can say whatever you got to say. This movie's a straight 2 for me. Fuck this movie.
I don't hate it as much as you guys. I was young when this came out. I was about 10, and I thought it was cool as hell.
Yeah.
But being 10, you don't know anything. But I watch it every now and then. I don't think it's that crazy bad of a movie. I don't think it's a Tim Burton movie. It doesn't feel like one. It doesn't have the same aesthetics. Anything like this is very much. I would never have guessed Tim Burton in a lifetime did this movie if I didn't know.
Yeah.
Already, it's just.
It's funny because you can say that about other movies later on in his filmography, but it's not a bad thing to say that. I think in this case, because it's like, why was he signed on to make this? Did he have some kind of revelation that the studios didn't let him like play out or what? But you think his
it is
style,
weird.
Yeah. Like if I feel like it should have tied more into the movie, like he should have done something more in line with his style, and maybe they didn't let him. And we talk about that shit all the time on this show, but I don't know. I just, it's crap.
It's not good.
It's crap.
It's not good. It's not good. And
there's nothing memorable about it. All the well-known actors in it are disguised by looking like monkeys. So,
yep.
You don't really. I'm not into
Yep.
it. I'm not.
I'd probably give this movie about a 3. But I mean, the movie. I mean, even with the cast, Mark Wahlberg as the lead was just a bad choice. Anyways, I don't hate Mark Wahlberg, but I will say that a lot of times he enters movies or franchises, and they get worse from there.
Well, and the most recent movie he did before that, I was looking at his filmography, was Three Kings. And again, that's a pretty forgettable movie for me. I remember seeing it. It's okay, but like doesn't really stand out to me. But he was a part of a cast of, I think the other people in that movie are like George Clooney and like Ice Cube or something like that.
Yeah, it was just one of those cash grab like heists or military movies.
Him in like the main, being the main protagonist in this movie seemed a little odd. Seemed not kind of in his range or whatever, but
is this is after he did Fear, right?
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Fear is like
first movie. Yeah.
So I mean, I thought he was good in that, but ever since then, I just haven't found Mark Wahlberg. I'm never like, damn.
Have you seen
Mark Wahlberg was so good?
Mark in here.
Have you seen The Fighter? No, I'll take that as a no.
The Fighter's good.
The Fighter is a good movie. He does a great job in that movie. He is opposite Christian Bale, so he's not going to look as good as he could.
Oh, I know what movie you're talking about. No, I haven't seen it.
Dude, highly recommend. It really is a good one. Amy,
I'll have to check it out.
That movie too. She's really great, but he's one of those people that just doesn't deserve starring roles in pretty much anything. Plus, he has a checkered past as being a racist piece of shit. So
it's Marky Mark, though, man.
I know we're supposed to just like let stuff like that go because it was so long ago, but fuck him. He's a millionaire and he's a pussy. So
love you, Mark.
Well, I mean, it was back when he was Marky Mark.
Yeah, which was terrible. Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch fucking sucked. You might have liked it like a time period when it was a cool thing to like, but if you go back and listen to that shit now, You know that scene in Gladiator where you're waiting for him to do the thumbs down thing? That's me, thumbs down. Fuck that movie.
So you can't change the rating again.
Huh?
No thumbs down. You can't change the rating again.
No. I mean, that thumbs down is for Mark Wahlberg. He sucks. For Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. Just all
I wasn't
bullshit.
listening to you because I love Mark. But this is a poor movie.
I ignored you because Mark is my man.
I don't hate him now. I think he has gotten a lot better. I just don't know that he still warrants being like the lead actor in any movie.
No,
really.
I don't think so. No. The only one he did great in lead acting, but he wasn't even the star of it, I think, was why did the movie just freaking when he plays with The Rock and they go and
Pain and Gain.
That movie is sweet.
He also was in The Departed, and he's not bad in that movie either. But he's not the main.
That is true. He's better when he's a side role because he was the shit in The Departed.
Just pepper him in. Pepper in the Wahlberg.
Yeah,
but Planet of the Apes is getting a 2 from me.
2?
I give it a 3.
Absolutely 2.
Hell yeah, it deserves that too. The movie sucks.
It does.
Yeah. But moving on, then, if we're going to move on, we're going to talk about a better movie. So that's good.
It was on that night Carl met his destiny, and I met mine, almost. They say when you meet the love of your life, time stops. And that's true.
Big Fish, 2003. Pretty
Little Pond. Sorry.
Hell yeah. This is another one with a kind of a bloated cast in a good way, but it's an interesting film because there are a lot of big fans of this movie. I think, Rex, doesn't Jason love Big Fish? I'm pretty sure he does.
He might, but I mean, you already know my brother's pretty medium about everything.
Yeah,
it was good.
Right. It was good.
It was all right. It was good. Yeah, it was good. It was all right. But I mean, I wouldn't doubt it if he does. I think this movie's pretty good.
Yeah, it's the exact opposite of the Mark Wahlberg effect because Ewan McGregor is the lead in
that smile. That smile
good.
He is good. I think he's pretty good in a lot of shit he does.
Yeah, he's a solid actor. This movie's a very strange love story, and that's admittedly I did not rewatch it. It's been a number of years since I've seen this one, and I am a fan of it, but I don't remember all the ticks and boxes for some of the shit that happens. But you know,
It
Just like
kind of
the
reminded me of like The Notebook, but like Tim Burton version. Because
Absolutely.
the young version of them and the old version of them.
Yeah.
And, trying to believe if this guy was, talking shit or, just making up tall tales. It's literally a movie about tall tales in a sense. But, throw that love story in there.
Actually, what is it? The Notebook would have copied this movie because this movie came out 1 year before, which is crazy.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, but the Notebook.
Because now that you say that,
that's
it's like I see it.
Yeah.
That's based on a Nicholas Sparks book, so I don't know if that came out.
That is true. That is true.
So I don't know. I don't know that they're related in any way other than their similarities in the time aspects, which are a pivotal part. Steve Buscemi.
Danny DeVito.
I can name actors in the movie.
I think this is one of the first times he uses Deep Roy too, who is the Oompa Loompa in the next movie that we're going to talk about.
Deep Roy.
And Deep Roy is
his name
one
is
of my
what?
favorite. Deep Roy.
Deep Roy. Deep is in deep down under.
Yeah, Deep Roy. Yeah. He's one of my favorite TV characters in Eastbound and Down, but that's a totally different subject. This is Tim Burton. Pretty much telling tall tales and shit, especially with, the dad dying and stuff and talking about how he's born and all the weird people he meets, the giant and all that shit. It's a fun movie. I don't know that I love it, but it's fun. It's got like a kind of Forrest Gump vibes in the sense of like chronologically going through his life as he gets older and like, again, with all the tall tales and shit he's talking about, you're like, I don't think this guy's telling the truth, but there's some good performances and Ewan McGregor's tight. I like this movie. It's good.
No, it's definitely a good one. Yeah,
it's good.
Who's the female in it? Who's the woman, the female lead?
Jessica Lange.
Oh yeah. That's right.
The old version is Jessica Lange. I
the young one's Allison Lohman.
Okay. I don't remember either of them very well, but
so I do like this movie a lot. I don't love it, but I do like it a lot. I like the audacity of the retelling of how he met his son's, mother while he was getting ready to pass. But I think it just kind of is an exaggerated sense of how bad and how fantastical our memory can be of events in our life. Kind of like, like the rose-colored glasses, you have on things. This is kind of an exaggerated telling of that. Like, he exaggerates in ways, but in reality, his exaggerations, when you see at the end of the funeral, all these people come out, that a lot of them weren't as real. Exaggerated. Yeah, some of them were real, but some of them weren't as exaggerated as he thought. And it just, I don't know, I think it's a really cool, it is a love story in a weird way, but it's also like just like reconnecting.
He's dying.
And then reconnecting with his son and stuff. Like, I don't know. It's got its points. When this first came out, I was still really young, but I did watch this movie quite a bit. And yeah, it just always had this kind of charm. I sometimes find these odd movies really charming. There's one on Peacock I showed my brother that I really like with Anthony Mackie. It's escaping me right now, but it's a weird little charming love story, and I really like it for no reason at all. But anyways, Big Fish, I give it actually kind of a weirdly high score. If I'm being honest, it probably gets like a 7.5, maybe even an 8 from me. Ooh. I think it's got the quirkiness of Tim Burton in a different way, though. Like, when you watch this movie, in my head, I don't see it as a Tim Burton movie, but it does have a quirkiness. And no, it's a great movie. I like the story it tells, and I think you're right. It's kind of Forrest Gumpy in a way, but that feel good way.
Yeah, it's definitely.
That's my take on it.
Yeah, it's definitely got a feel good vibe. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna stick with 7. I hate that number, but it's I hate going below. I hate going above. I've really got to have a hankering for this movie. I did rewatch this, and it was better than I remembered it being. So yeah, 7's good for me.
Solid 7 from Dan the Man.
Yes.
I mean, I think Albert Finney did a great job.
Oh yeah, he's awesome.
Playing Ed Senior, like just I don't know, his performance was great.
I love that it has Billy Crudup in it. I'm a big fan of that guy. He's the guitar player from Almost Famous in that fictional band Stillwater. I forget his name.
Oh yeah,
Stillwater's dangerous.
Hammond. Yeah, Stillwater is dangerous. I don't know. I'd probably give the movie. I mean, this is based on when I watched it back in the day, but I'd probably give it like a 7. Yeah, probably have to agree because I remember liking it, and I know it's good, and I should have rewatched it, but I just wasn't feeling it. I figured I would watch Big Eyes instead because I hadn't seen it at all. So yeah, I'd give it a 7, and I think it's good, but it's not one that. I don't know. It's not super memorable to me because some of these movies we talk about, they're part of the Tim Burton conversation when you bring it up, and I'm not sure Big Fish is one of those. But
no, it's not. Yeah. It's not. I agree with you.
Well, everyone, that brings us to the end of part 1 anyway, because we still got 10 more movies to fucking talk about.
He's probably making another one, so probably 11.
Yeah, I'll probably have to do another one updating it.
The future ratings. Well, we, as usual, thank you for listening. And everyone, let's get a big round of applause for our new third host, Danny.
Yeah.
Danny,
welcoming me to the team, guys.
It was once a lone wolf, and then he decided for another wolf to join.
Cubs.
Yeah, so now we're a pack.
Now we're a pack, a deep diving pack.
Yeah, deep dive pack.
Can we do the Wolfpack intro next time?
Hell yeah.
All my wrestling listeners.
If we get another member, can we do the Mighty Duck?
Hell yeah. The Mighty Dives.
The Mighty Dives, yeah.
So check us out on all the socials, as usual, Facebook, X, YouTube, Good Pod. Still don't really know what the fuck that is. Spotify.
It's something weird.
And Amazon. We're on it. That's all that matters. We're
on it. We're on it all the time.
Yeah. Any closing thoughts, gentlemen, on the first half?
I feel like we got some of his really good ones.
Yeah.
As far as his standout films. The second half, there's a couple on here, especially the first one we're going to cover, that are questionable. Questionable choice of just filming. Any idea? I'm talking about Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but we'll get to that.
Part 2, I can't help.
This. Yeah, I like this first part, though. The movies we did, they were good ones. Good ones.
Absolutely.
They were. And welcome, Danny. Of course, we're glad to have you now as a returning permanent member of the team, the Wolf Pack, the Deep Dive Pack. And anyways, I think this was a great start off. If we didn't mention earlier, Danny actually is the one who picked Tim Burton to be the topic of our 2-parter that we're going to do. And yeah, I think it was a great choice, and this is a great addition. But that's all I've got.
It's going to be the perfect way to kick off November, because we have all the stuff coming down from Halloween, and then I feel like Tim Burton's kind of fall vibes. So
definitely,
I agree.
So tune in next week for part 2, and we will track the other 10. And I can't help but want to insert the Gambit meme here, like, woo-wee, I'm gonna make a name for myself.
Oh, yeah.
This is your boy Practical.
This is your boy Rex.
And Danny Boy.
Danny Boy.